See what kind of crew I can bring in tonight. It's late as hell. So late. What up, fam? Way late tonight. Apologize, y'all. I was debating on even getting on, to be honest. But I figured, why not fucking hop on for a couple seconds, see how's everybody doing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, yeah. I was off for a week. What was weird about all that is, like, they let me finish my live that night. That I posted the giant video. What's up, Jay Neat? How you doing, buddy? 187. What's going on, Wasp Bread? How you doing? I know it's been over a week. We'll see, man. And it's late, too. I wanted to get on at 11, but I just figured I'd hop on real quick, see what everybody's doing. Yeah, no, dude. So I shared that video of the giant or whatever. I finished my live and everything that night just fine. I thought, wow, okay, at least they didn't kick me out of my live, right? You know. So I finished my live that night, and then the next morning I'm reading and going through some posts, and I start trying to comment back, and it's like hits me with multiple violations or whatever. You are restricted from commenting, sharing, posting. I couldn't even message nobody. You know, dude, I've heard a lot of people talk about Above Majestic. And honest to God, dude, since I even started this channel from the first couple 100,000 followers, so many people told me to watch Above Majestic. And I never did. That's the messed up part. I never did. But I kind of have a little bit of an idea what it's about. But I need to watch it. I need to watch it for sure. Is it a long film? What up, Mekong? 5280. Spectre Seer. Yeah, no, not banned. I just got on Tubi. All right. Dude, I'm so irritated. I have a Roku TV and I ain't been able to find my damn remote, and then for some reason my phone remote won't connect to the damn thing, so. I appreciate that, Walter. Appreciate that. Salvadora. Thank you. How's everybody doing tonight anyway? Y'all doing good? So y'all do, like, I shared that video on the Aztec stuff. It's kind of, it really hasn't done much. It's kind of quiet. I think it's because I had a week off, right? For some reason, when you take you're given a week where you can't post, it really hits your views so hard. Yeah, thanks, Punisher. Appreciate that, bro. A lot of people were saying that they were missing my lives. It's kind of cool. Appreciate that, Eric. That's the idea. Yeah, man. Thank you, Mermaid. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Appreciate all gifts, guys. Really, really do. Yeah, like, I really do love this platform, y'all. I really do. I just sometimes wish it was a little more, you know. Every time I hop on every time I plan a live, every time, I go through this phase of, will they accept this combo? Like, will this issue, could it potentially get me in trouble or whatever you want to say with them? I don't like using trigger words like the B word, like BANN. You know what I'm saying? I don't like using trigger words like that. When you start talking that shit, the algorithm picks up trigger words like that. So I try not to say stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about, though. Like, when I get restricted, yeah, like I just get so nervous to go live, and because I want to feed you guys y'all. I find out some crazy shit lots of times, but I'm scared to share on here. Not all of it. And I'm not trying to hate. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I find, y'all, that would just blow your fucking mind. Even tonight's conversation, right? Even tonight's conversation, I was very hesitant, very, very hesitant on sharing. And I'm still nervous about it. Not saying that it's real, not saying that it's for sure thing. Either way, you know my line. May or may not be true for entertainment purposes only. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just subject to whoever researches it and who wants to believe in it, right? At the end of the day, my source is a pretty good one for this particular info. This gentleman believes what he says. You know what I'm saying? Like, wholly and fully believes what he says. But doesn't mean you have to, and it doesn't mean I necessarily do all of it, right? This one kind of like, so this girl, her name's Amber, she been hitting me up on YouTube, right? You need to research this. You need to research this. You will dig this topic. And I was like, okay. And I had seen a little bit of what it was about. Just watching YouTube and stuff like that. I've seen a little bit of what it's about, and it intrigued me. But she had been telling me I need to watch this video on here it's on YouTube. It's like 50 minutes long, and it's from the Israeli news network. Okay, so they do this research. This lady interviews this gentleman about a substance, right? It's out there, bro. Okay, they call it fringe, right? They call it fringe. But it's being produced. Supposedly, it's naturally occurring in Earth. Okay, it's the foundations and the building blocks of life itself. Supposedly, okay, this is just all hype. You know, I don't like saying it's real. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I'm just sitting here like watching this dude, this physicist from Germany, talk about it, and I'm just like, boom, blowing my mind. Like, I'm just like sitting here going, what? You know what I'm saying? So, it's wild. It's out there. Like I said, I hope that, I'm okay to talk about it, essentially, because I can't afford another one. I'll probably get, chopped for this, if I get in any more trouble. So try to keep it cool in the comments, y'all. Appreciate it for me, for my sake. Thank you, Mermaid. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, girl. So, okay. All right. I'll get to it. I'll quit elaborating and all that. So the movie Venom. Okay. Y'all know the movie Venom. For the most part, anyway. I imagine most of you know the character or the somewhat superhero, Venom. Okay. The movies were really fucking cool. Like, I loved the movies, right? Really cool. I really recommend them, dude. So Venom, basically is this normal dude that somehow stumbles upon this stuff that's like black goo. Okay. Black goo. And it's a liquid form, and it's almost intelligent. It's got a consciousness, if you will. And it likes to attach to hosts. Well, Venom's black goo is of the more evil end of spectrum, right? It's manipulative. It's manipulative in the movie as well, right? When he gets to Venom's character, he kind of turns like inherently evil in a weird way. But at the same time, he's kind of good too. You know what I mean? Like the gentleman is inherently good. So when Venom takes him over, the good side influences the black goo. Okay? Well, bro, this was all fantasy. right? To me, when I saw it, all fantasy. It's not fantasy, okay? Let me tell you, it's not fantasy, okay? It's not necessarily all fantasy. A lot of things are rooted in truth. So when I found this out, I was like, you gotta be shitting me, right? So this girl sends me this video. He's a German physicist. His name is Harald Kautz-Vela. All right. He's a GIA engineer, plus a transhumanism. Transhumanism. That's what he studies. Transhumanism. Sorry. That was a weird word for me. Transhumanism is basically the idea of super soldiers, or robots mixed with human, right? Machine and organic subjects are mixed together. Basically, that's transhumanism. iRobot. Transhumanism, okay? So he studied this stuff in Germany, right? Now, it wasn't for a military entity. It wasn't for a government entity. It was for a privatized entity. So basically somebody with just a buku loads of bucks that is interested in such studies that he started working for. Okay? It was actually truly for the betterment of mankind. It really was. I believe that in my after watching the video and the way he explained it, this man was inherently good. This guy was. He was inherently good. All right? But he started explaining it. They asked him about the black goo. And he started explaining it as such. It's derived from seawater. Okay? So how he explained it, and he said they completely replicated this process within the lab that he was working in. Okay? So basically it's this dense, salt-rich seawater. Okay? It sinks down, it's on the bottom of the ocean, and somehow it's drawn into the fissures and the rock of Earth that it basically, and it's less dense than the rock, so it travels up through said fissures. Now, he described it as this: very thin, very round. Very thin, very round. And basically highly heated in a immense amount of pressure. He claimed to say it was like the building blocks or foundations of life in general. Okay? So basically through this process, being super heated, super pressurized, and super filtered, it basically creates monoatomic atoms within the substance, if you will, and it'll eventually create folic acid, which is the building block of life. Then the folic acid continues through this pressurized system, and eventually it reaches the Earth's ley lines. Okay? The ley lines. This is where it kind of started to intrigue me. Okay, what do we think about? We think about ley lines and stargates. Okay? Stargates. Ley lines and stargates. So throughout Earth and Mother Earth, this stuff is basically compiled throughout her ley lines. And it turns into this, it's like gravitational, electromagnetical, and they say it's of a higher dimension. Basically the photons bounce light back and forth off each other, and they create this literally intelligent organism. Okay? It's an intelligent organism. It can transform, it can mutate, and it can take a host. Okay? Now, the stuff in Mother Earth is inherently good. It's inherently good, this black goo. Okay? I know it sounds crazy, but this black goo is inherently good. It takes on Mother Nature's, it basically creates Mother Nature and makes her an organism, a living, conscious, breathing organism. Okay? It's the building blocks of all life. Now, in the Bible, they said that manna, right? They called it manna. Well, this is manna. And it rained from the heavens, right? Well, it didn't actually rain from the heavens. It did in a sense, and I'll get to that later. But it actually is derived from Mother Earth, okay? Now, and there's an account of this stuff in a book called The Coming Race. It's a really old book where a kid gets lost in the mountains. I know you guys have heard me mention this before. He gets lost in the mountains, and basically he runs into this tall white, this tall white being that's around his age. And this tall white, instead of leaving him there to die, which would be his instincts, and that's what it was telling him to do, just leave him there because he's a human, he couldn't help it. He helped this kid out, took him back to his house or his home within the subterranean pockets, and he had a mother, a father, a sister, and him, a family of 4. Okay, they showed him his tact. They showed him they showed him their abilities and stuff like that. Well, in this book, he describes this black goo, this mana. They said that not only did they tie it into their being, but they tied it into their weaponry and their tools of life. Okay, I know you guys have been watching my Aztec stories, right? All these crazy stories are coming out of Mexico. I'm so glad that I got the chance to learn these stories because it's a storyline that's been lost in time. Really, it's been lost in time. It's been discredited. It's been just basically told as a fairy tale fantasy, right? But you got this group of people that has always thought that their people were inherently bad. That they were doing, dirty things like sacrificing and kids and all this. But when in fact, that might not be the case. Like, I'm not saying our history is wrong. I don't know for sure because I wasn't there, right? But at the end of the day, it might not necessarily be the case, okay? Everybody has agendas. And I'm not saying it was like that. I don't know if it was like that. I wasn't there, I said. But these people have always thought that their ancestors were these evil people. And, like, could you imagine going through life like that? You know what I mean? Thinking, wow, I come from a just terrible group of people. You know what I'm saying? It gives you just this self-esteem, decrease. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you ain't gonna be confident in who you are. So it's kind of cool. I was able to share all this stuff and these stories of lore, of love and light. And I hate to say it, y'all, I believe every bit of it with the Aztecs. And so where I'm getting at, what I'm getting at is this mana, this black goo. This is, I believe, what could have gave them the powers that they had back then. Okay? It's hyperdimensional. It's hyperdimensional. It's in the 4th dimension. The layers of space-time. It can travel. Okay? Now, it's what we describe almost as instinct. It's instinct. Okay? This stuff creates instincts within the human body, within Earth, within animal. Okay? Now, where it changed, there's not just good or white. They create white light black goo. There's black goo that creates dark and black entities. Okay? So, we all talk about demons. What color are the demons? They're black. They're black. Okay? They're manifested, and they seem like what? When people actually claim to see demons, right? They seem like almost like a smoke, right? This is that black goo. It's not smoke. They can manifest. It can transform. I have a better picture of it. This is a picture of it in the lab behind me. I'm not sure if this is even I might have been from the Venom, but it's the same concept. This guy told me it looks identical to what Venom's stuff is. And so, like, here's a picture of what it looks like. And it literally is always looking for a host. It's always looking for a host. But it's this black goo, basically. All right? It moves. It's like magnetic, like I said. And it wants to take on a host. So, what happened? Earth has naturally produced this black goo for eternity. For as long as it's been alive and a living organism. What happened? Why all of a sudden, so this black goo on Earth, before it was influenced by any other stuff, was inherently good. It tapped into all 7 chakras. Okay, this black goo did. The Earth's black goo taps into all 7 chakras. Love, light, empathy, caring about one another, creating harmony, peace. Okay, peace. So everything was good on Earth. Until an ancient alien faction that was inherently evil began infiltrating. through the mind. They would infiltrate as well through tech. They would coax with tech. You know what I'm saying? We'll give you this. We'll give you this. So what they did was they used worker ETs that weren't the main head, and they sent them down here to talk to the Atlanteans. Okay? The Atlanteans. And what they did was they convinced the Atlanteans to open a Stargate. All right? And a Stargate they were not supposed to open. They convinced them to open this said Stargate. This is the storyline, okay? I know it's wily shit, but it's just wait, just be patient. So they created and they opened this Stargate. And once they did this, meteors came through the Stargate, okay? They were loaded with an evil black goo that was made by this evil entity or evil alien faction. They would send it in meteors. They'd put it in the middle. They'd send it in meteors down to Earth, and the meteors would poof, blow up as they made impact. And you can see the meteor impacts all over this planet. Just go look at Google Earth. Meteor impacts everywhere. And that's not saying it's all from this, but I'm just saying, so they'd break open in this evil black goo, right? Not only that, it would stay in stone as well. Thank you, Mermaid. I appreciate you. It would stay in stone as well. Okay? It would stay in the meteorite form. Now, this is fucking nuts. So, this black goo would limit your chakras. It would limit you to head, cancel out heart, stimulate the sexual chakra, and then the life chakra. Okay? So, it's only activated 3 of 7. Okay? All the other chakras are shut off when this black goo is present. So this physicist was telling me all this stuff, and dude, this guy is a smart man. He's worked with some of the best. Okay? One thing that is throughout this black goo is a form and a small portion of monoatomic gold. Okay? I know I've talked about that before. Monoatomic gold. So this black goo that he had worked with, right? It could regenerate limbs. Okay? He saw it firsthand. They did an experiment. One gentleman was 56 years old. Okay? They started using this black goo, monoatomic gold on him. He was 35 again within no time. I'm serious. This is not, I can't validate and verify, but this guy was saying it as if it was like legit. So this gentleman was 56. He started taking the black goo and the monoatomic gold, and he was 35. Month 2. Just sprinkle it over your food. Okay? And I know I've talked about this before with the ancient Egyptian pyramids and what they found below. Well, I know they try to recreate monoatomic gold today. Okay? It's not pure, it's not real, it's not right. He did mention one institute that said that he said they did get legitimate monoatomic gold from. Okay? In Germany. But check this out. So he said they did an experiment on a cat that had been ran over by a car and its tail got cut off. Started giving her this black goo monoatomic gold. Her tail regrew. Okay? This one freaked me out a little bit. Teeth. I'm not fucking kidding. Teeth, bruh. It was growing back people's teeth, fam. I'm serious. So, basically, so it's used in some medicines today. Not a lot of people know about this stuff. You can go look it up online, though. Monoatomic gold is easy to find. But they use this in medicines today. He said they created this basically virus killer out of it. The black goo monoatomic gold. A virus killer when this supposedly, like, I don't want to say like weaponized, flu virus was let out in like '01 or something. I don't know. That's what the rumor was. I'm not saying it's true. Okay. But he said that they created this anti-virus to combat this, okay, out of this monoatomic gold. So it's used in medicine today in very finite amounts for regenerative tissue, okay? When people have surgeries or they get burnt, they need a skin graft or they need to grow skin, they use this regenerative tissue, okay? Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, Stray. God, every time my screen flashes, I'm like, oh shit. They got me all jumpy. So, all these meteors that limited our chakras got sent through. Okay, and I don't like saying even who it's by. I'm not even going to say who did it. Y'all can figure that out. But basically, alien factions of evil origins. So, they sent all these massive meteorites down with this evil, this more limiting, if you will, limiting of humanity or consciousness, black goo in stone. So this one kind of freaked me out. He told this story. He says, because he was from Germany, so he wanted to know with, WW2, and all that, what the hell went on, right? Well, apparently, at the end of maybe the first one, WW1, a German soldier was in a mine. And at the back of this mine, he stumbled upon this pile of black rocks. Okay? Well, they fascinated him. They looked important. Nothing he ever seen before, so he grabbed them. Compiled them, and took them. That was supposedly the start of the Germans' evil reign. Okay? Of this evil reign was this black rocks. Eventually, the man, I'm talking about the main man, got a hold of them, and after that, all this evil started taking place, and that's when Greys came in and started conversating with this gentleman. And I have pictures of that. So they planted it, and they wanted to bid evil on humanity. He explained it like this. One day, he had a meeting with his lab techs, and they had some in there. They had some in the room. Just a normal meeting. They'd seen it 1,000 times. Talked a little while, and he went back home. Okay? He said that for the next few months, he had this inherently evil thought process and evil instincts. So much so that he was thinking about like somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like hurting somebody, right? His hotel manager, real, you know what I'm saying? Like, he said he couldn't understand these thoughts that he was having, he couldn't understand that the evil going through his head, because this guy's inherently good. Like, he got offered to take this monoatomic gold in his lab. They said, do you want to, take it? Do you want to, be young forever, basically? Do you want to be 30 forever? And he said no, because life is too beautiful and the process of aging is too much of part of the experience that we have set up here on Earth. He said no, bro. Now, how many people are going to say no to that? So he's inherently good dude, okay? But he had these evil thoughts running through his mind about just doing these just terrible things to this gentleman. And finally, he realized that this set of black goo was actually inherently evil. It came from the meteorites. The stuff that's not inherently evil is from Mother Earth, and it doesn't stem from the meteorites. Okay? It doesn't stem from them. The evil factions, it all stems from meteorites. Okay? So in that case, you know what I'm saying? I know who knows the Bible, but supposedly Muhammad found something in the desert. You know what I'm saying? Could be inherently, they don't know, they haven't tested it. But could be the bad vibe, black rock. I don't know. I'm not saying that for sure, but it stems all the way back to then, and then it leads to the Great Wars. Okay, So there was a time on this planet when things were super technologically advanced, right? And these evil beings, these evil factions of alien, they want Earth very badly because it's resource rich. I mean, dude, probably a lot of it is this black goo that Mother Nature creates on her own. Mother Nature, creator of all. The organism of Earth is a real conscious being, you know, at the end of the day, and it's inherently good, but she can be overtook, right? All of her resources mined. These ancient alien factions, they say it's one of the richest planets in this semi super universe, right? Of these natural resources that they want so badly, mainly gold, and the monoatomic gold. Monoatomic gold is so important to what these aliens want due to the longevity that it creates of life. In the Bible, it talks about 1,000 years. Some of these ancient, you know, religious people and religious characters throughout the Bible lived 1,000 years. Noah lived to 800 years, right? It's because of this, all right? Now, our body naturally produces monoatomic gold out of the mitochondria. Basically, mitochondria are little machines that harness the nutrients and the life form needs that our body has to have to exist and grow and age. So what happens is at the age of 18, the mitochondria stops producing small amounts of monoatomic gold, right? And that's when aging starts, like clockwork. Now, I've actually read and heard through ancient texts that God is the one, our ultimate creator is the one who instilled this, because we used to live much longer, but it seemed that the longer we lived, the more power we gained, that necessarily it wasn't a lean of good power, like this good side of things. Sometimes it would lead to the evil side of things, right? So God said, all right, I'm going to limit their lifespans. Not only that is, it seemed that at times throughout history, based on the monuments and stuff I see, that there was a time that we were so easily influenced by these evil beings that we actually did challenge God on this planet at one time. Not even lying. We challenged the ultimate. They convinced us that we could beat him, right? On this planet at one time, I believe. Okay, and it led to a great war, at least a large group of people. So it ticked him off ultimately, and he said, all right, I can't let these beings live as long as I do, 1,000 years, right? Limit it, 100. Wow, you know what I mean? So he altered our DNA, and he got rid of these things called like molecule mirrors. Supposedly they're actually studying this. Like I say, it's fringe. That's what he kept calling it. All I study is fringe, this on the fringe tech, this tech that's fantastical to people, right? Fantasy stuff you see in the movies, like Venom. When I heard about this black goo, I blew my mind. I'm sitting here like, what? Organic? Like there's a substance that has a mind, it's conscious, it's thinking and living. Holy crap, you know. Can be manipulated into good or evil. And like I said, if you guys want to look this up, just the Harold Kautz Vela, check him out. He's on YouTube, on Israeli News. He does an interview, and you know, he's very genuine. He seems legit. I love the stuff he talked about. He was very thorough. He got a little like chemist on us. You know what I mean? He was talking stuff that was like way up here about it, but and he gets a lot deeper than I can right here and now. Okay, there's a lot more that could be said, but I'm not going to do that. There's certain things that should not be touched on, like religion, for example. Okay, this stuff has been a part of it. So that's all I'm going to say. If you guys want to do your more research on this, that's on you. But basically, he talked about all kinds of information on this black goo, Could it become mainstream? It's hard to say. I don't know. I doubt it, right? I imagine that's reserved for the Omega people on Earth at the moment. But when I researched this black goo and I figured it out and found out about it, right, I started thinking, wow, okay, this is where their power stems from. This is where the humans in the Third Great War that could raise things with their minds, that could build pyramids, that could, have super speed and super strength and all this stuff. This is where it stems from. Because what happens in Venom, bro? The guy's a beast when he gets took over by Venom. He's a beast, really. Nothing less. Fast, strong, climb, all that. And I'm not saying it takes you over like Venom. It's not like that. It's not like that, okay? It don't take you over like Venom. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be consumed, and then a lot of times just instilled in life, everyday life, all right? So, like I said, there's a lot more that could be said about it with all the churches and all this stuff, how it's involved. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to get banned. So, no, just do your due diligence, bro. And honestly, guys, if you don't research it, you're crazy. Seriously, watch this video. It's on YouTube. Check it out. Just type in dude's name, and I'm sure it'll come up, Israeli News interview. And you guys got to watch the whole thing. I mean, the guy is a G, dude. He's a little awkward, but he's really smart. Genuine, decent guy. And he's not lying, dude. He ain't lying. So, crazy stuff. It exists. Like I say, is it love or is it light? It's the foundations of life. And this is one other thing I wanted to say. So do you guys remember that video that was going viral on TikTok for a while of that entity in the sky? It looked like it almost had like tentacles. Oh, his name is, here, I'll tell you real quick. It's Harold Kautz. It's Koutz. Harold Kautz Vella. 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 He's a Gia engineer and a transhumanism engineer or scientist. So that entity that was in the sky not too long ago, I wish I would have took a screenshot of it because it looks weird, right? It's flying in the sky. It looks like it's got tentacles. Thank you, Armor. I appreciate that. It looked like it got tentacles, okay? That is black goo. No question in my mind. And it's a black goo that's took on a demonic aura. Demonic side. It's gone to the dark. It's coming through, wormholes. Literally. Through the dimensions. And what we feed into on Earth, it'll manifest and it'll form. This stuff is holographic, okay? He said it was holographic, fam. Meaning it can create holograms, okay? And it can completely fool you. It's fringe, like I said, but it's some real shit and it's high-tech shit. Mind-blowing stuff. So check it out. But basically, I believe that all evil on Earth stems from it. The way things are in society and humanity today, things stem from it. You know what I'm saying? I believe that maybe there's even like groups that worship the black rocks. Okay? I don't want to say, you know what I'm saying? They worship it. It's that influential. It's that influential on humanity. So, what needs to happen? Okay? Love and light, always. We need to find our heart chakras again. Because this took us from our mind. It took us from our heart chakra, which was the main one with Mother Earth's vibe and aura. It basically makes it, so he kept describing it as, this stuff allows you to absorb the morphogenetic energy in Earth. Okay? I know you guys have heard me talk about that. That's what this morphogenetic energy is almost like soul in a way, and it interacts with your soul. So this black goo allows you to absorb the morphogenetic energy, which is what created Earth in the first place. So when this bad side of it was introduced, it took away our heart chakra. It brought us to our mind chakra. And what it did was, and if you look back at Germany and WW, lack of empathy. That's what they say it creates. Lack of empathy. That's the biggest thing it creates, is lack of empathy among mankind. That's why they could do what they did with no remorse, is because this stuff pulls your heart chakra up. It puts you to your mind chakra and the life chakra of living, and then sexual activity. Okay? What's society? It's in tune, right? What is society? Lack of empathy, extremely sexual, in our minds only. That's what matters most. You know what I'm saying? So, wild stuff anyway. Something to think about. Check it out. Okay? Yeah, that's why right there. It's wild stuff. Lack of empathy. I'm telling you, it's gone. And people have lost that. If you haven't seen, it doesn't take much to look. Just look. You know what I mean? But what sucks is, it's like my whole question. So my thing during this whole conversation that he was having with this lady, I'm sitting back and I'm going, okay, well, these evil beings, they fucking cast these meteors down with this nasty black goo on it, and it's influencing humanity. We're unknowingly being influenced, right? Unknowingly, accordingly. Nobody knows. I never knew. So at that token, where's the good? Where is God? I'm not saying he's not here, because he is. But where's the counter? Why are they letting them take our heart chakras and put it to 3 chakras? Okay? In the inherently evil, the ones that aren't as important. Where's the counter? Why is the influence being only negative? From the just a negative, right? It just frustrates me at times, you know. So you're telling me, and this is we need to figure that out as a consciousness. We need to. They're watching, but they're waiting to see how far we'll let them push. How do you unknowingly discover something that is you have no idea it's happening to you? I can't find the logic or reason there. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. We're unknowingly being influenced by this evil alien faction. Well, what the fuck? Tell us that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think that it's blind manipulation that we don't even know is happening to us. Like, it's frustrating. Mono, M-O, mono, single atom. Monoatomic gold, single atom. It's really hard to get single atom elements in nature, naturally. Most elements have a bonded atom system. There's got to be 2. Okay? So basically, when you get something to monoatomic, it's purest form. It's purest form. So when you get all these different molecules that are monoatomic, right? They get in this, basically, you know, I used to criticize that. I always criticize this, and after watching this, I'm like, huh. So I always used to criticize the primordial soup. Okay? The primordial soup of life that we came from, just this concoction that the earth created, and it manifested life. And I started watching it, and I was like, oh, man. Because I used to just give that so much shit, like, oh, we had to be created by this ancient alien faction. We were basically, kind of, But I think this black goo, it was the foundation of it. And it was originally from Mother Earth. Okay? So there is a primordial soup. And it's this shit. Like I said, and it makes perfect sense because it goes to good or evil. If you're inherently good, I think your soup will push you to good. But if you're inherently evil, maybe your soul in past lives, I don't know how that works. Okay? It just seems to be leaning so. You know what I mean? It just seems to be leaning so. It's so hard to explain. You know what I mean? Why? I don't get it. But it's everything around us. Okay? It's all of it. What we're exposed to, told, etc. Society is definitely being infiltrated. Okay? But just remember and be with the right, the truly divine, in the true power of the source energy of all existence. Just remember that they will always prevail. Okay? So don't think that just because you're getting tempted by these evils and this tech and this glamour and glit, don't think that is and that's where they get you. They expose you to this stuff, money, power, tech. They expose us to this stuff, and they get to tempt us all they want, but the good can't tempt us either because they abide by the rules. It don't make no sense to me. That's why sometimes I catch myself thinking, is it a test? Is it a test for mankind, our species? Is it a test of, okay, will you take on the evil? And if you do, you're a botched experiment. Reset, boom. I don't know. I mean, I know that's wily, but bro, is it? Because God seems to be letting it happen. Well, in the Bible, he does let people get tempted often. He even makes a bet with God. Lot, right? Or Job. One of the two. Lot or Job. Makes a wager with the devil. He says, I can make him break. God says, no, you can't. He'll be cursing you by the time I'm done with him, says the devil says. No, he won't. Let's bait. Shakes hands. He didn't. He didn't curse God. He didn't cast God down. But I feel like people are doing that easier nowadays. So, I don't know. Maybe it is a test, right? We're not passing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not passing. So, I hope so. I hope so. I hope, inherently they will help mankind, but I don't know if they'll help us all. That's the thing. They'll make sure we exist on, but they don't necessarily make sure we'll all exist on, right? I think that's just the cruelty in the whole process of this whole thing, this whole manifestation, or whatever you want to call it. It's cyclical, and it's cyclical, and it's got to be so, for existence to reign, for it to exist at all. I think, that's how I've coped with it, and that's how I sleep at night, right? End of the day, we all do end up, old and in the cycle, right? But on that note, this guy, right? He said something that kind of resonated with me. He said that we have guardian angels. At birth, we're assigned one, a guide, if you will, that's here all the time. But they cannot interfere unless you ask, right? If you ask out loud, and so it wasn't the guy who said that, but Billy Carlson. I was just watching some of him. Billy Carson, dude, that dude's a freaking G. I love his work. Forbidden Knowledge, dude. He's killing the game. And he's on that fringe subject. That's why I like it. You know, I constantly get, you know, based on what I talk about, entities or businesses don't want to approach me. They don't want to push me, right? That's why I like Billy Carson, dude. He's a G. He's talking about the same things. Killing the game, making bank, manifesting, got a great life. And he's genuine. I think he's genuinely good. I don't think he is inherently, I don't think he's being took by the entity that's got celebrities all going, you know, basically, if you got to be a celebrity, this is what you got to be a part of to get there, right? I don't believe he's a part. Okay, he's a good man. I really think, but he said that if we want or ever need help from these ancient deities, we just got to ask. It's that simple, right? That kind of blew my mind, right? Nobody knows to ask. Now, on the same token, he said, and this was really cool too. This is a good bit of information. I don't know how many of you believe in manifestation, law of attraction, etc. I kind of do to an extent. I kind of do in a sense. So he said this. He said there is 7.5 billion people on the planet. 89.5%, which are religious. So he said basically there's trillions of prayers that go up each day. Trillions. Okay. The only thing is, and the problem with it, what everybody's doing is they're asking. He said certain prayers, and manifestation in particular, vibes at a certain frequency. And if you want to manifest and you want to create this future for yourself, like me, I sit here trying to think about, okay, how can I pop on YouTube? How can I get my platforms going? Manifest it. Think about it. Manifest it. When you ask, he said just that. Don't ask. When you ask God for your help, please give me this, or I need this. I'd like to heal. Will you please? Will you please? That vibration, when you're telling or asking that certain prayer, is low, because you're begging, essentially, kinda. You're kind of begging, so your vibration is down here. You're cowering. Instead, he said, command it. If you want to manifest, command it. Tell God when you ask for God, like he said, he'd do it for flights. He'd say, I command that my flight will go like this, and I will end up here safe and sound. And I believe that's the case. He manifests that, and he envisions it, and all of his flights are good. You know, I mean, obviously it's just a little small example, but when he commands it, you're up here. You're like, I know this shit's gonna happen. I know I'm gonna make it. I know I'm gonna get this car, this freaking house. You know, whatever. I know I'm gonna go big, right? When you're there, you're up here in that confidence bracket of like, you're vibing higher. I'm going to kill this game. You know what I'm saying? He said it works every time. Like, it works solely a lot better. So those of you guys that are into that or believe in it, just a little side note for you. As I say, I've been watching him a lot more lately. Dude is a boss. Our views are very in tune. He believes, though, that the Anunnaki created all pyramids. I do not believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe the Anunnaki are the only alien entities capable of it. I don't believe that. The Anunnaki are inherently evil. Okay? They're inherently evil, in a sense. So, why is it only evil can build them? That's not true. It's simply not true. So, in my story that I had on TikTok today that didn't get shit for views because, you know, standard, don't change the, narrative, I guess. So, this Monstro's grandfather would tell him these crazy stories. And I love it, you guys, because I've been watching my comment sections on these stories. And people are dumbfounded at times, like, so the Aztecs were inherently good? Question mark. Well, it's up for speculation, but it's possible. Is it not? It's possible. So I'm changing people's whole perspective. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of cool. It feels cool, you know. It's not fair to them, or these people, that you know, maybe their history is being skewed. I don't know. But so not only that, I'm getting a lot of Mexicans, right, to comment on my post and tell their stories as well, right? All their stories from their grandmothers and grandfathers, and it's lore dude, Mexico is full of amazing lore that is gonna die with the certain generation of people that is currently the grandparents now. The kids ain't gonna pass this shit on. I mean, are you serious? Nobody's documenting it. Like, I know it sounds crazy and stuff at the end of the day, but like, you still gotta document it, dude. What if it does end up being true? All that history is gonna be lost to the abyss. It's heartbreaking almost, right? I'd really love to just find maybe an elderly that moved up from here, or just somebody that was into lore, the stories, and I would love to seriously sit down and just tell me everything, bro. I want to hear every bit of it, from the duendes to, you know, the luminaries, the ETs, the ancient Aztecs, the Mayans, whatever. What did you hear? What were you told growing up? What stories did you hear? I want to know, because I believe, dude, these are more accurate than most of text. I don't know. That I was taught when I was growing up from my history books at my school. I you know, I believe that. I don't know. It's word of mouth. It's these amazing stories. There's mythology to it. It sounds mythological, but even if you just set that aside, you can pick out the valid, like, the stuff you believe in as far as what could have happened. You know, some people don't believe in the super speed, the talking to animals, the picking massive stones up with their minds and squishing the evil enemies with them. You know, some people don't believe that. The walking on water, the sand that makes it so you can roll through fire and not be burnt. Invis, basically, this mud would make you almost so cameled out you were invisible, like Predator. You know, I love that one, the bubble. Okay, and I'll tell you something. Lake Baikal. So Lake Baikal is this lake that's really deep, and all these ancient tribes and these ancient peoples always are treated it as if it was a higher power, or a being would go in there and submerge into the lake, and they would just disappear. So they believe that maybe it was a gate to another realm or heaven or whatever. So they would give it sacrifices of gold. Basically, there's just massive amounts of gold laying at the bottom of this lake. Okay. So the Russians, they decide to send a few soldiers down. They dive in. It was like 6 or 7 maybe. But as they were swimming around, they get down to a depth, and all of a sudden they look up, and there's these freaking aliens, dude. These entities, all swimming. They probably have a group of 3 or 4. But they remember looking at them and going, wow, they don't have any scuba gear on. Well, what they did have, they look up and they look at their head. They obviously look at their head, and they got a bubble. What looks to be a glass bubble around their head. Okay? That's how they described it. A bubble. An oxygen-filled bubble of sorts. They said it obviously had to be higher tech. So I used to think, well, okay, well, you know, what is that? Well, then his grandfather tells him a story about this water that can be found. Maybe it's in deep cavernous areas. So that explorer, the oceanographer that found that lake at the bottom of the ocean that was so dense that when he tried to lower himself into this lake with his little, sub, it bounced back. It wouldn't let him in this lake. He's like, holy crap, that's really, really dense. Almost like goo. Okay? On a weird tip. Almost like goo. So his grandfather tells him this story about how these ancient ETs that worked with his ancient Aztec descendants, which actually I have reason to believe they may be somebody totally different. And I'll get to that. But they said that they would tell them about this water, or this water-like goo. It was like Jello. You could get it. You could form it, right? And then you could plop it on your freaking head. You can't make this shit up. And it would let you swim underwater for 2 hours. Now, I know that sounds crazy. But when I heard about this, when he tells me that story, and then I go click Lake Baikal, when they saw those aliens with them around their head. Clear, glass-like bulbs. Boom. It's true. It's real. The ETs know it. We don't. Right? I do that all the time in this game because of my research, right? And only in one part of Mexico. Nice user, dude. So you know what's up? Of course, the Native Americans as well, guys. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Native Americans are included. You guys are all of the same faction. Okay? I believe. Of the same peoples that were a part of the good, okay? What did the natives, I want to be grammatically correct. What did the natives do? How did they live? Off of the Mother Earth. What did they do? They loved Mother Earth. They treated her with respect. And they prayed to her. Okay? Now, it is said that black goo of Mother Earth, that's how you are. Mother Earth's black goo treats you and teaches you your heart, empathy. Or Native American tribes, when a shadow or an outcast, not a shadow, but like a shunned being or person would come out of the woodwork needing a place to be. They had nobody. They would throw them a teepee. They would throw them a sleeping quarters. You're now a part of our clan, and you will be treated as such. We all eat around here. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they lived. That is in tune with the good chakras and the good Mother Earth based black goo vibes. Okay? So I believe, yes, I just know, okay? I just know they were not doing these things. These things that we thought. That's so think about this. When we first, me being my ancestor, when we first got to America, who was here? Only the natives. There was no influence of any pale man at all. He would talk, his grandfather, of this elite group called Mexicahtls. So these Mexicahtls, they were so. In Aztec lore, they would talk about the Jaguar warrior. These warriors that were super fast, very proficient, amazing in battle. They were sneaky, they were quick, they were elusive, they were smart, almost like a predator in the wild, right? Jaguar warriors. So these, I think, could also be what he called them Mexicahtls. It's Chatls, Mexa, Chatls. That's what he called them, Mexicahtls. So they worked with, and they knew, so basically they knew this war was coming. Probably because they knew about the Black Rocks, they knew about all the negative influence and all this, okay? It was the Greys, and who was really at the helm? I'll just go ahead and say it looks like, here. Where are you? Where are you? 2 seconds here. Wow. Okay. That's what his grandfather, that's who we explain. All right? As being the evil faction. Whether you believe it or not, that's up to you. Okay? They are the ones. The evil knows no bounds. All right? They live and thrive and off of us and our liquid that we produce. You know what I'm saying? You know, I try not to be too graphic. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds stupid at times, but I don't want to get in trouble. So they thrive off this energy, this negative, this evil. They were the ones who sent these black rocks through the stargates. Okay? They want Earth bad, y'all. They want Earth bad for the resources here. They want Earth bad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yes, and fear. And fear. So, on that same note, think about this, okay? What has there been a large influx of people seeing in the last, I don't know, 5 years maybe? What do people complain about? What do they say? And I've been seeing it a lot more on TV as well. Shadow people. Okay? Shadow people. There's been a large amount of people claiming to see shadow people all over the world right now. Okay? That is a portion, a small piece of said black goo. And they're black as night, boy. And they're intelligent. Okay? That is evil. Yes, exactly. Believe Jesus. Okay, sure. Amen. All right? I believe that too. I do. It works. Trust me. It does. But they're all over right now. And it's because they're gaining power and feeding off of all of our negative. All right? So that was just a little side note. That's happening like crazy right now, and I don't care. You guys, thank you so much for the gifts. I get people emailing me all day, every day. They all, not all, but they all have many a complaint, asking me, hey, am I crazy? You know, and dude, and I feel bad for some people. Like, dude, I have people reach out to me all the time on here because of my content that have nobody to talk to. For real. Thank you, Stokes. I appreciate you. They have nobody to talk to about this stuff because they're scared of judgment. Absolutely scared. Terrified of it. They will not tell a soul, bro. But they come to me. And I treat them with all the utmost respect. Thank you, Angel. And I never pass judgment. Because I know. You know what I'm saying? I keep it real 100. I never, ever pass judgment on these people. I want them to come to me. I wish I could talk to more of y'all doing this shit. You know, I would love to make an impact on that tip. You know, hey, tell me your story. So I'll tell you one right now. This girl hit me up the other night, right? So I'll start it out here. She's a really cool chick, down-ass chick. She's really cool, really pretty. We chatted for a couple hours, to be honest, last night. Once again, she's from Wisconsin. They're never around Michigan, so this is my luck. But she's close to Chicago, and you know, blah blah blah. But I don't do that distance stuff. No, never works out. But anyway, on my last video, or my video with the walking on water stones, this gentleman commented that he's from Mexico. This gentleman commented. He said, "Yeah, wow, crazy stories. I love them. My grandmother used to tell me a story." Just like some of these. Thank you, Mel. I appreciate you. So my grandmother used to tell me that when she was a child, she can remember, she lived by the 7 luminaries, right? She can remember growing up when the farm fields were vast, as far as the eye could see. Fruits were big, etc. Sometimes she would even get lost. But she'd always find her way home, you know. But they were just acres and acres and acres, hundreds of acres. These farm fields were. So one day she got lost, and she ended up in a little clearing in the middle of one of the orchards. And in this said clearing, she would kind of curiously, it was like a circle. Step into it and kind of go, what the heck is this? Kind of weird. Well, she would step into it, and as she got towards the middle, all of a sudden, she feels this large updraft. And literally, she starts to levitate. And continues levitating, and continues levitating, and continues until she's way up in the air. She said she can always do it. She said every time she went to it, it would pick her up, and it would set her down as gentle as it picked her up. Every time. She would fly, more or less, is what she would call it. She would say, I would fly. And anytime she went to this opening, this circle, she would literally levitate. She explained it as winds, but was it just winds? You know what I mean? What kind of wind always sets you down perfectly and doesn't just drop you? You know what I'm saying? Kind of like maybe it had an intelligence. You know what I'm saying? So she would fly, literally. And I was like, dude, wow, awesome. This is the type of magical things I'm hearing about. These seven luminaries are just crazy. Awesome stories. But anyway, this girl would comment under hers or his about his grandma. Man, I'd love to talk to her because I used to have this happen to me at times. And I had to contact her. I was like, I got to hear your story. What's up? So she goes, when I was a child, I could see things. Like she would see shadows or shadow people. And maybe almost like demonic entities at times. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. She said when she was like 7 or 8 years old, she can remember when she'd be put to bed, and she could hear her mother and her father out in the kitchen talking about, whatever, work, the day. She said it happened to her every night for a year or two, until she reached a certain age, then it stopped. But she said that right just as about every freaking night, she said she's ready to fall into sleep every night as a child, because just as she was about to fall asleep, she would wake up levitating at her ceiling. And she remembers the feeling of, and this is the thought that she told me she had. And when she told me this thought, it like almost gave me chills because it validates her experience. To her, she was having this experience. She said she can remember thinking, oh my God, and this is it's almost like sad because this was like her first thought. Oh my God, I'm levitating. What if my mom comes in and sees me? She's going to think something's wrong with me. And maybe, with the priests and all this stuff, having exorcisms and all kinds of shit. She was thinking, my mom cannot see this. She ain't worried about what's doing it to her. That tells you it's an authentic thought. She's not making it up. She's not. Okay? Like, she's not worried about what's doing it to her, who, what, where, why, or when. She's just worried about her mom walking through the door and catching her levitating, bro. Every night. And she can remember, she said, the feeling of not being able to grab onto something. She'd be grabbing at the ceiling, right? Grabbing at the ceiling, nothing to grab onto. So if she fell, it'd be free fall. She always said she remembered that ill feeling too. Okay? Now, this is what she told me. She said, I was to the point where I thought I was going insane, right? So one of the times this happened to me, I took my nail and I scratched the ceiling, a long line in it. Just scratched it. And while she was up there, she was freaking out. While she was doing it, the next morning she wakes up, sure enough, that scratch is on the fucking ceiling. Like, you can't make this shit up. You know what I mean? So, later on in life, she said that she also sees and can tell people's intentions of good, whether they're evil inherently, what their intentions are. She said she can see you and basically pick you up and down. Not necessarily she's nitpicking at you, but like when she sees you, she can feel your vibe and aura, right? If you're evil, she knows it right away. And she said the reason she said she's so lonely because she said everybody, bro, everybody's aura is inherently bad. And I'm not saying everybody, you know what I'm saying, but to her, that's what she sees. Maybe, I've seen it, people, I'm I've always been this type of guy. Like, I'm an empath. Thank you, Main. Appreciate you. I'm an empath, and I'm a decent person. I try to be very, very morally encompassed, right? Like within the realms of decency that I believe karma 100%. So I try to put it out there good. For a long time, years and years, y'all, I would approach people that and automatically think they're the same way, right? I think sometimes, so explaining this, my grandmother told me that I actually have an ancestor that was full-blooded Mexican. She was full-blooded Mexican. She was my aunt or something like that. And she was great or something. But anyway, she was full-blooded, pure-blooded Mexican. And I was thinking about that and putting two and two together, the stories he's telling me, and I thought, maybe that little bit of DNA is where my empathy is drawn from. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not, guys. I can be just as much of an a-hole as the rest, right? But that empathy, right, I believe could have came from that line. Of a time maybe when everybody was just inherently good. Like, you approach people like everybody. So could you imagine a world, everybody you approach, you wouldn't have to be on defense. What do they want? What are they going to do? What are their intentions? No jealousy, no envy. Approach somebody and just know, thank you, Angel, I appreciate you. You just know you approach somebody and they're going to be fucking 100, bro. 100. You know, I've always been that way. I'm 100. I would never rob, cheat, steal, try and go at your girl. None of that shit. I'm not cut that way. I'm not cut from that cloth. I'm an OG, man. I'm old school. We don't do that shit. There's a code to keep that we're all losing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's losing that. Like, I swear to God, bro. Like, people around me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen, like, women get offended. Right down offended. My buddies' girls. Shit. Neighbors. Fucking. Not always, but just people that are close. Like, school, you know what I'm saying? Get right down offended that I ain't hollering. Offended. No, I respect your man, B. That's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? Men used to have a code, but they respected each other on a tip. And I think, like, dude, I think, like, I see people that are amazed by it. I can tell when I first approach them, they're scared. You know what I'm saying? With their girl, bro. I'm like, what? So, dude, I'm just saying, I approach things like that. And you know, I get judged for it, sure. I don't care. Judge me, bro. I know I'm right in the world and the divine. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I can go to bed at night and going, hey, I ain't cut from that. You know what I mean? That's just how I gets down, bro. I'm from 1980s, bro. I grew up in a time where you never, bro. In high school, every one of my boys, dude. Every one of my boys, bro. It was a given. Even if you broke up with that girl, it was off limits. If you loved that girl and you had something special with that girl, I ain't touching it. I ain't even looking at it. I'll look at it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's off limits unless you ask. Unless you ask. You know what I mean? Unless you ask. That's just how it is. But anyway, times are changing. It seems like every guy I talk to nowadays, dude, you know, I'll be chilling, they'll stop over, and in the DMs, the old lady will blow up shortly thereafter, or at least sometime or another, whether it's her or him. Shit, I don't even know at this point anymore. No. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? I don't know. That's just not, I don't know. Appreciate that, Dre. But anyway, could you imagine, though, that chakra, that light and love and light, you know, the loyalty, the relationships, the soul exchange, the soul exchange, right? The souls, not just the beings, but the souls attached, just the souls. It's like quantum entangling, right? Your souls would match, right? And, you know, So they say there's like 4 or 5 people on Earth that could possibly, you could be friends with on the quantum level, the outside of Earth realm, in the spirit world, that you are very close with, like maybe even family, possibly. I don't think it could be family necessarily, but you're really close in the soul world. Your spirit guides, spirits. You can actually meet these people in real life at times. If you get lucky, you might meet 1, maybe 2, if you're really lucky. But yeah, imagine that being like that on Earth with everybody, bro. Like, you know how strong and amazingly like powerful that could be. A single consciousness, essentially. But right now, a lot of things are founded that are supposed to be good, right? They're supposed to be good, but they're actually founded on the meteorites, the black meteorites. They don't even know it. They don't even know it. The ones at the top do, but they don't. Kind of crazy stuff. That black goo, man, that fucking threw me for a loop. But it's like, just when I think I know, like, pretty much the gist of everything that's happened, something like that comes along, and I'm like, that's where it all stems from. The evil, the good, the everything, dude. Manna in the Bible, the manna, maybe the sphere of Amenti, you know, the Ark of the Covenant could be the light, black goo, right? Shit like that. So for example, the not just the spear of destiny, I'm not thinking that, the Moses staff, that part of the Red Seas, it was laced with black goo of the good kind. It was laced with black goo. That staff is said to be still in existence today. And it'll take on the size and completely form fit to your height as soon as you grab it. And it'll ready to rock. Okay? Right? I know, right? You're hearing, so what does it do? That stuff to me validates, could possibly validate. And this guy, I wouldn't believe it if it was hearsay. This guy was in a lab creating the shit. 100%. He said that they completely mimicked the process of Earth's natural processes, and they made it. And it worked. It's obviously being very restricted and hidden at this moment. But this explains all the magical things that happened in every text, Bible. All of it. It explains the magical things. Especially if it can create holograms. You know what I'm saying? Holograms. Like, it can create holograms, bro. It can form fit and make you see it. He kept saying this. He said bionosphere. He said it has to get raised to the bionosphere of some sort and it can actually, bro, it's in depth. You guys got to watch it. It's in depth, dude. It's intense, dude. It's you got to be. I watched it twice just to make sure I had a general idea before I came on here and was trying to explain it to you guys. But I know I'm missing a lot of shit. So you definitely got to be of a higher grasping of science and stuff. Like, I'm not even good at science, but I could kind of grasp what he was talking about. If you're like a PhD in chemistry or lab tech or anything, you on point, bro. You're gonna watch this and go, okay, I know all this shit. He's talking about photons that would reflect light off each other, and the light would somehow manifest. He said that it was CO2 rich water, basically all the foundations of life. And when pressurized and heated, it created this black goo that you could consume, and it would, like, I mean, bro, grow teeth? What? Bro, grow teeth, bro. Like, come on. Wow. Could you imagine that? What? Replace limbs? All that stuff. Black Goo. Look it up. Black Goo. I wish I would have shared the source. I should have shared the source. But it's Harold Kautz Vela, and it's just type in Harold Kautz Vela, Vella, and the Israeli news interview, and you'll find it. And dude, this dude talks about it like crazy. Oh, and he talked about CERN as well. And how they basically, he said, it's a touchy subject on anything. He's like, they're completely, he said that nobody of any sane mind would be doing what they're doing. He said they should be shut down now. And he said what they're doing is opening the Stargate just like the Atlanteans did, letting all the evil in. That's what he said. Crazy shit. I don't know, whatever you want to believe, you know. What up, Skull Punch? How's it going? Ascendants, don't even realize it. I haven't been watching the comments too heavy tonight, guys. I just wanted to kind of share that story. But what I was going to get at with the whole, like I said, the Aztecs having these magical, like what seem to be magical powers, can be explained by said goo, said mana. Now, they knew the war was coming, and this is a revelation I had as I was hearing this, and actually as I was, writing this story, or filming it, or whatever you want to call it, for TikTok. I had this revelation. So what happened? They knew the war was coming. They've been watching. They've been seeing the said the humanoid lizards, if you will, reptilians. If they've been watching them, okay. So they know this war is coming. They know it's impending. It's gonna happen. So at this point, it's probably 1,000 years prior. Years were much different to them back then because they lived till 1,000. Okay, so I feel like things were much prolonged, possibly, or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, things would be more prolonged. They said each war of the Earth wars lasted 1,000 years, and they went on and raged for that much time before they ended. So if you live till 1,000, 1,000 years, that's much more commonplace. You don't think about it on this super high speed, time scale that we have today. Got to do this, got to get it done, got to get it done, got to get it done. I'm 33, right? I got to get married, got to have a kid, got to get a house, got to get it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're shrunk down. Like, hey, I'd just be a babe if we lived 1,000 years. I'd be in my prime, yo. You know what I mean? At 100 and 200, you'd be in your prime. Getting it in life. But you get all this time to figure it out, man. It'd be weird as hell. It'd be weird because we're used to. But, man, could you imagine that? It'd be kind of fucking nice, too. To get 1,000 years to figure shit out, right? We're on this, like, super shortened time scale. Which actually, truly, I heard that God changed that possibly because of, and he also changed the harnessing the Earth's energy, right? Because of Cain. Because of Cain is acting up, I'm guessing. At that point, from that point on, God said, I can no longer give humanity the power to harness Earth's energy. So that's why he shortened our life and then kind of reset us, supposedly. But, anyway, so the Aztecs were they knew the war was coming, so they began recruiting the main alien faction, the good one, which I believe they look a lot like us in a weird way. They really do. They look a lot like humans, but this higher vibration alien entity that was inherently good come down, and they tasked the ancient natives of Mexico, the Mexicahtls and the like. They said, so this great war is coming. We need to unite the planet Earth. We need to unite all the civilizations here. Okay? So you must travel the globe. And in doing so, you must communicate with these tribes, and you must get them on the same page basically as what we are. Vibrationally, chakra-wise, love and light. And so they did. They went to Australia, China, Russia, Europe, Africa, every single continent, right? This group of Mexicahtls, or this Mexican based people, copper skin, dark, right? These people went all over the globe, and they united an entire human race all over the globe. It was all love and light, right? They would show up and they would talk to these people. They would live with them and they would see their ways. They would get so attached to each other, right, that sometimes the Aztecs would stay, or on the other spectrum, the peoples that they were visiting would join the Aztec cause. They would literally trade, which would do what? Interracial intermixing of species to become a higher breed. Ultimately, just think about dogs, right? Breeding dogs. You breed dogs, purebreds are always a little bit because they're interbreeding. They're inbreeding. Mutts, much more. A lot of times smarter. All of it, dude, because they're hybrids. They're the hybrids. Not the thoroughbreds are not the hybrids. Mutts are the hybrids. You know what I'm saying? Mutts are the better breeds. Period. I know a guy who had a Doberman. Dumbest dog I ever seen. I mean, it would literally just chase butterflies all day. Like, bro, you're supposed to be a badass Doberman. Like, what the fuck? My dog's like sitting here running circles around it. So they'd put all these people and they'd interbreed and iterate, and then some they'd train tribes and all this stuff. It became an earth melting pot. An earth melting pot, right? What else did they do though? This is what it is. This is what I was like, holy crap. These people were taught sacred geometry by the sky people, what they refer to as the sky people. These natives were taught sacred geometry. They were taught how to harness the earth's energy. They were moving things with tapping into their pineal. They were building pyramids all over. And if you guys have heard, they found 2 in Australia that were supposedly like gold laced. They found them in Bosnia. They found them in Russia. They found them in China, Mount Kailash. They're all over, y'all. I think the Giants could have had a part. But I do believe, and I truly believe, his grandfather said, not only did they use Earth's energy power, but they also used sound energy, low vibrational sound energy to move these stones. So, who did I think of instantly? Seafaring group that's been proven to be seafaring, building pyramids. They'd build the pyramids to align the star constellations because at certain times of the year they would harness the energy from the said star. That was taught to them by the sky people. So they would harvest the said energy and they would sustain them for so long, and then they'd do it again. The cycle would continue. It would harvest this beam of energy and blah, blah, blah. Supposedly the Bosnian pyramids, the 3 Bosnian pyramids, supposedly they still work. This kid told me, if you go to the ancient Aztecs and the ancient Mayan pyramids, their toiletries still flush, y'all. Their toilets still flush and work beautifully. He's like, you could sit down and drop a dookie right now and that bitch is going to flush. No septic tank full. You know what I'm saying? They were higher than we ever believed, y'all. Higher than we ever believed. So this faction, right? It went all over the world building pyramids. Okay? Yeah, bet. So they went all over the world building pyramids. Who did that? The Egyptians. What color were the Egyptians? They looked bronze, like Mexicans, right? Huh. What a weird correlation. I believe that it's possible since the Grand Canyon discovery that some of the OG pyramids and Egyptians came from South America and North America, because what happened? We came over here and there was no white man here. It was all natives. They are descendants of the ancient Egyptians, y'all. Period. I guarantee it. After, you know what I'm saying? And then after so they just established, so what happened? What happened, right? What happened? They after this great war, so they went to war, all right? I'm going to get to why they were in America in the origins and the original. Okay? And I'm not taking away anything from even the Middle East or the Arabs or anything like that. Yeah, they could have had a hand in it too. I think they all came from the same bloodline. They could have. Just because they're in Middle East and the natives are here doesn't mean that at one time they didn't intermingle race, right? Very well could have happened. I'm just saying I do believe that, you know, there's at least more Egyptian roots here than we ever believed. Okay? So what happened? Why did the natives still inhabit here even after as early Egypt took place? Well, the Great War took place and the good side prevailed. Okay? Now, what happened after that? An ice age. Due to what? Nuclear fallout. Okay? Nuclear fallout. So, I was Google Earthing on Antarctica the other day, and I found something. It looks like a pretty cool looking little spot. I don't know. It's like Einstein's invention in World War II, right? Looks just like it. Just like it. I do believe that happened here at one time on Earth in the higher factions. So what happens after something like that happens and maybe thousands of them get dropped? Thousands, maybe, I don't know, not hundreds of thousands, but like thousands and thousands of them get dropped, right? Well, nuclear fallout happens. Okay? Ice age happens. So the ice age takes place, and then that takes out a lot of people. They go in the underground cavern, they reemerge, and then eventually the flood takes place. Well, before the flood, the sky people told these people that helped them win the Third Earth War. They figured, well, they helped us. They were a part of this battle. They gave it their all. We're gonna give them the secret. We're gonna give them. They're inherently good. I feel like after we fought with them, we can trust them, right? We're gonna tell them about the subterranean pockets. We're gonna show them where to go to get away from the flood and live and make it. So they did. And then after the floodwaters resided, they emerged from the underground tunnels and became Aztecs, Incans, Mayans, and then the natives of the north. Some of them headed further north, some of them stayed there, and some of them are even in South America, right? Which also has a portal or a underground tunnel to the subterranean pockets where they can survive. They literally go down there and they'd build massive megaliths right under the ground. And once, like I said, the waters resided, some of them stayed, some of them emerged to Earth, and they walked through could you imagine walking out the tunnel on Earth in like Flagstaff, Arizona, like high on elevation, and looking around and seeing an Earth that was virtually barren, all yours for the taking, no competition at all, it's all yours, baby, whatever you want, you know what I mean? Now that's cool, that's crazy. Imagine that feeling. You get to be the first to seed the earth on that moment. Okay? Now, your world from before would be completely gone except for the pyramids, right? So this kid had a great post. Venom Universe. Joe Nicewitz. So Venom Universe, if you guys don't watch him, he's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, he's very smart. Very smart. He doesn't believe in any alien life. that aliens created the pyramids, or any higher faction at all. Which is where I just draw a little crossroads with him there. He truly tries to prove that ancient humans could have done it. But I think he's starting to kind of come around a little bit. Basically, the technology today, these guys tried to buzzsaw, like use a cement saw to cut one of the bricks on the pyramids, and he figured out it would take them like 24 hours of work, 7 days a week for years. Like, dude, it was a stupid amount of years it would have took them just to do it like that. He's like, it's just not practical. It's not possible. So, I think he's keeping this persona because he's kind of popping on. He's popping on he's popping on YouTube Shorts with his stuff, and his stuff is very educational. It's very accurate to what he knows. He don't consider nothing outside of what's on paper though. That's the only thing I don't like, man. He's cool, all these facts and all these shits and shit, cool, but you don't know the real truth. You know what I mean? To me, but he's popping anyway, and he had a video that I really enjoyed. Talking about the flood. Imagine there's 200 to 300 to 400 feet of water above everything on Earth. Well, Then shortly thereafter he referenced the Titanic. Everything's underwater. So think about the Titanic, how thick the steel was on that boat, all of it. He said just after 100 years of undersea exposure, in cold water, mind you, not exposed to any sunlight, in cold water that preserves you longer, or preserves things longer, it's getting ate alive, literally. It's like melting almost, but it seems like it. But it's eroding. It's totally just withering. He said he figures probably in another 100 years you will not be able to tell it even existed. Okay, and then he goes like this. He goes, so imagine a floodwater of the sea that had everything on Earth, every infrastructure, every building, everything on Earth, underwater for even say 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3. Every existing structure, steel or not, on Earth would be reduced to the grains of sand at the bottom of the ocean and put back into the cycle of life. They would have zero recollection of, or zero proof that you and I ever even had existed. Basically, once those waters resided, they would be exposed to a brand new Earth once again. Okay? Crazy thought, right? He said the only monuments that would be still here, you'd have things like the Georgia Guidestones, which I want to touch on here, and Mount Rushmore, and the pyramids, of course. So, I think about this, y'all. Fucking fly, I swear to God. One fly. So, I think about this. I'm a Google Earther. I love looking at Google Earth. So, I see all these crazy structures that aren't really documented, but that's okay. I see them. I know they're there. That are really withered. Some of them are withered. You can tell they've been ate up to half of what they were. And I sit here and I think, wow. He said it takes thousands and thousands and thousands of years underwater for the pyramids and all that stuff like that to deteriorate. All the structures, all the monuments. Thousands of years. I sit there and look at the erosion patterns that I'm seeing. And in fact, yeah, this Earth was underwater, and it has probably been many times over. For I'm sitting here like 50,000 years, 100,000 years. This Earth has had moments like that in total, not stretches, not singular stretches, but possibly, but in total, it's been probably at least 100,000 years, bruh, that the Earth in total has probably been underwater. And it's basically a total reset every time. Bodies, human, all of it. You're all gone. structures. There's no remnants of nothing. Nada. So that's how easy a reset is. A recycle. So this is why. And so this tells you, let me tell you, this is how intelligent these people were. This is why they carved things in stone. They carved everything. They didn't use paper for their, for their ancient scribe and their ancient hieroglyphs. Why? Because they knew that in a flood, everything would be reduced to nada except for stone. So that's why. And they didn't do it with the hammer and chisel either. Get off that tip. It did not happen. They had a machine, a plasma, something that they could input this info into, and it would laser cut it somehow, some way. Thank you, AJ. I appreciate that. That's how they made the hieroglyphs. I don't give a shit. Nobody sat there with a hammer and a chisel. They just didn't. So they were that smart. They were that ahead of our time. We did Mount Rushmore, cool, but we don't. Why the old saying, baby, etched in stone for eternity, right? That's why they did it. So, I sit here and I'm like, okay. So we're supposed to be the Omega right now, the advanced, whatever. Nobody's ever been, people don't like to fathom the fact that maybe we have been more advanced than this. But in fact, we have a lot more. And the withering, like I said, on these structures, some of them is just insane. There's been a lot more history. Like, we don't even begin to know, let's say. But one thing I thought that was really cool, and this is, his grandfather said this and went into depth about it. He said that, and think about Star Wars, Han Solo and Chewbacca. He said that man has had a long-standing relationship with many of the creatures on Earth, but we don't even know it, including Bigfoot. Man and Bigfoot used to have a mutual respect / slight brotherhood, if you will, of family-esque vibe, because Bigfoot has been here for millennia. He said millennia. They have watched man since the beginning till now. They have watched man since the beginning of us till now. They've seen all the different races that have been on Earth. They've seen it all, including all 3 wars. They fought by our side in all 3 great Earth wars. Bigfoot's fought by our side. They're highly conscious. They vibe, but they steer clear of us because at some point we forgot who we were. We don't understand. They understand, because that's why they stay away from us. That we aren't what we used to be. We aren't the same people that they fought beside in all these great Earth wars. But why? But they're very simple. They just love. They love and light, man. They're family oriented, and they literally would rather live on Earth and forage and live life peacefully than be given this advanced tech and be given the opportunity to ascend to the alien ET level. They'd rather be here and just be foragers, literally. They're simple, but they're not. They're simple, but they're smart. But when you run into a Bigfoot, there's a very good chance that he or she is protecting an Earth portal. Now, when I say Earth portal, just an entrance. It doesn't even necessarily need to be a Stargate, just an entrance to inner Earth. And he said that they will so protect it because they understand what's down there, that no evil can expose to this power that's in our Earth. I believe it could be the Ark of the Covenant. Truly believe that. It cannot be swayed to be evil, basically. And that Bigfoots are so vibrational that they can read your aura as soon as you walk up on them. If you're evil, they will be able to sniff you out in no time. If your intentions are ill-willed and you aren't going for the right reasons, they will smell it out instantly and they will attack if they have to. They avoid it. They'd rather scare you, but they will attack if they have to. But on the other hand, they can also tell if you're inherently good. If you literally approach, he said this, his grandfather, if you literally approach a pack of Bigfoots, or a clan, if you will, of Bigfoots, and you prove or show to them, or they see your aura, and you are pure of heart in love and light, and your intentions are pure, they will let you literally walk through it. They will escort you to it to go check it out. I'm like, what? Cool. So yeah, I don't know what I'd do if I saw one, but it'd be crazy. But they are inherently good. They are inherently good. They're not evil beings. They're not evil entities. They are all love and light. Fucker. I hate flies. But yeah, that's so basically, dude, look at George Lucas, fam. Look at George Lucas. Look at all these galactic wars that he wrote about, from Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3, all the 1 through 7 episodes. All of it. The consciousness he talks about. Jedi, the Jedi powers, right? The Jedi force. The Force. May the Force be with you. The Earth Force. He knew. How? Don't ask me. I have no idea. Because there wasn't Google Earth back then. The only reason I even know... So let me tell you why I believe everything. It's because of Google Earth, okay? And it's because of the discoveries I've made on Google Earth. And I've told people this before on here. I have seen monuments of every shape and size. Every being, every creature. I am shitting you not. I've seen Jabba the motherfucking Hutt. A total statue of him. Everyone, dude. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Unless they were like into making movies out of stone, what's the message? Why'd they etch it in stone? For future generations to see what happened, took place. They made all the different beings I've ever seen. Everything I've even imagined, more than so. Literally. Things that I can't. Things that I've looked at and I'm going, what the mother is that, bro? Things that have fought in great wars, and all these entities of evil and good. I wish I could just totally go to whole bars with you guys and tell you, you know what I mean? Because it's fuckery, dude. it's that's the shit that yeah, I don't even, I can't on here, you know what I mean? To me, it's not scary. I'm not scared, dude. It's part of what it is, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not scared of it at all. But I haven't seen it in real life either. Probably would be then. I was trying to think of that the other night, and I could imagine running into one of those creatures that in my previous picture. I couldn't imagine walking outside, I worry about it at times, like not that necessarily them, but like just my content, that it's counterintuitive to their agenda. So sometimes, I think about like, dude, whoa, what if you did see something like that? They said, so basically they said they seen one spotted in the Israeli desert a few years back. It was a tall being, had a hoodie. It wore the hoodie way down. Why? Because it was hiding its face. It wanted to hide its face. But when they got up on it, they could tell by the footprints it was of a reptilian humanoid type being. But that's why he's covering his face. I could imagine seeing one. It'd be the scariest fucking experience probably ever, but whatever. What do you do? I mean, those ain't even the scariest, dude. They aren't. There's weirder shit, I'm telling you. So on a weird note, like weird tip, this lady was sending me pictures the other day, right, guys? Like this older lady, and she's like, well, because like I said, a lot of people hit me up because of what I act like I believe anyway. I do believe most of it, but like just basically that you can tell by my vibe, I believe a lot of what I say. So they approach me because they don't know how to approach anybody else. I'm like, sweet. I love that shit. I think that everybody's story, if they need to tell it, needs to be heard, man. And with relevance, not, oh, you're just crazy. Fuck that, man. Listen, see what's up. That's how I've become to the conclusions I have, and the truths and the reality I have. Our world's not boring, guys. It's not made to be. Originally, what our system today is instilled. It is the matrix, right? It's the distraction from the real and what we could be. Eat, sleep, shit. Eat, sleep, shit. Wake up, work, work, work. That's beautiful. Money. Everything costs. You have to work to live. When, no, it shouldn't be that way. It's a distraction from what ourselves, how divine, whatever you want to call it, could be. It's perfect setup. It's working well, to be honest. But that was weird. I thought I heard something outside, like a hiss or something. I thought it was my cat, and I look over and she's right here. So I was like, maybe another cat. Yeah. So, there's no limits, dude. Go ahead and watch Star Wars. Just let me tell it like this. Like I said, go ahead and watch Star Wars, and just imagine it's all real. I'm not even kidding you, dude. Not even kidding you, bro. I've got the eye for it, dude. A lot of people certain people I'll show and they can pick it up. Others not so much. You have to have definitely, you got to be able to see patterns that are not nature. Basically, they're patterns that aren't random. That's how I find it. If you look on Google Earth and you zoom in far enough, they are patterns that are not random. That's all it is. Simple. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Patterns that are not nature created and random. That nature would be. Just patterns that are man-made. Every time I see something, I go, that's man-made. That's man-made. That's man-made. That's human-made. Whatever. Being higher power, higher intelligence, whatever. They're all made. That's obvious. Pattern. And if you just switch just kind of turn things around, and don't hold you back. Don't let your imagination be restrained on what it could be. You can't let your imagination be limited on what it could be. You got to think with a totally open mind 1,000% times. And you will see, dude. You will see. It was very enlightening. And that's why, getting back to my point, that's why I believe in all this stuff. Literally. It's Google Earth. That's why I believe in all of this stuff. Because of what I see. That's subject to scrutiny, whatever. Check out for yourself. Be patient. You'll see. But anyway, so that's why I believe what I believe. I get criticized for it, dude, all the time on my TikTok. But I also get people like you guys that actually, are about it, which is really cool too. Because I'm kind of, dude. So for example, the other day, this chick hit me up on my YouTube. Oh my God, I've been looking for content like this for years. And I was like, cool, that made me feel good. She's never been able to find it, she said. And I was like, fuck, cool, man. You know what I mean? I must have something. The fruits of the work are not getting it right now, but sooner or later, I hope, I won't be discriminated or whatever against for my system of teachings or whatever you want to call it, beliefs. I don't know what it is, to be honest. I don't know. Hopefully, someday the people come around. And don't think you're a quack when you talk about shit that is absolutely within the realms of everything. The fact that we exist here on Earth at all is amazing. You know what I mean? Dude, it's so... If you guys want dude, it's so real. If you guys want validation, on what you're believing, what I'm telling you all. Honestly, dude, if you guys want, so what do? I put all the pictures that I take on Google Earth, I put them on Telegram. If you guys want to go check them out, go. Check them out. Check out the structures I find. I got to catch up. I'm a little behind. But I have a Telegram. It's just Night God, like the rest, Night God channel. Go check them out. I post all of my Google Earth shit on Telegram because they don't discriminate or hate. So check them out. Pretty cool stuff. Valyrian, huh? I'll take it. That's what you think? X-Files, baby. Cool. Dude, I couldn't believe that. It's wild because as I was telling all this lore that his grandfather was telling as I'm presenting it, I'm thinking, wow, what a cool heritage. And then I don't know why it didn't click, but it just clicked like today. Oh shit, I remember my grandma Laverne, my mom's mom, my grandma, my immediate grandma, told me that I had a full-blooded Mexican in the bloodline. Like I'm a mutt, you know what I mean? And I thought, wow, cool. So they, even though it might be a small amount, nevertheless, you know, some of my ancestors could have been a part of it just as well, even though I'm white. Do I rep it and try and be like, oh, I'm this and that? No, I'm not. I understand that I'm not that, but it's still cool to have that in my blood, right? In that heritage, dude. It's prideful. I don't know. It's cool. I like that fact. I like the being a mutt. I don't care. Melting pot me. Let's go. You know what I mean? Yeah, and dude, like you might not even look at it, but you might be half Portuguese, like this gentleman, or whatever. You know what I mean? Don't ever count your bloodline out that you don't have it in your blood just because you're a certain color. That's one thing we got to eliminate, and that's a big thing. In the old days that they eliminated was the appearance thing. No division based on appearance. None. Zero. Nada. It was all vibrationals, hearts, chakras, whatever. There was no racial divide at all, ever. When did that come in, right? I hate to say it, I think with my people. Unfortunately, I'm not proud of it. I'm proud of what I am, but you know, I think that throughout history, I'm sure every faction of people has done their due diligence towards the evil as well. I don't know. I'm not proud though, like of all the stuff that's taken place. So I have a theory that white man with vivid eyes or whatever, I do truly believe that they had their DNA manipulated by the said reptilians. I kind of am theorizing that. I'm not saying it's 100. I don't know for sure, but based on history and just all the conquering and the taking over and the pushing out and the you know, I don't know. But I've had a theory, but based on all of the stuff that I'm reading and the intent of the said evil side, the lizards or whatever, their intent is totally in tune with what we've done throughout history, being my people. You know, sorry, but I know I am. I'm just saying, bro. And I won't go there, but I'm proud of my people, dude. I'm proud, dude. You know what I mean? But I just the I don't know. But anyway, you know, it is what it is. I'm not trying to be like feel guilty. It's not, you know, nothing I did. It's just like that. Just somebody just said that's a short time period I'm referring to. Very short, very minute, very small. So, like I said prior, it could have been that in multi-racial races have done that throughout history towards each other as well. Yeah, not to the degree, maybe. I don't know, dude. At the end of the day. But what's the whole point here? The point is change, right? Isn't it? The point's change. It's recognizing it. It's recognizing the past and changing the future. Right? And if we don't admit our wrongs and we need to expose our truths and not be scared to do it, not be honest, dude. You know what I mean? It's a hard thing, I guess. I don't know. It seems simple to me. We made some mistakes, so what? A lot of people do, but the whole point is just learning from that and changing it. I don't know. So the Georgia Guidestones. I'm gonna go there for a second. You guys heard about the Georgia Guidestones? Really weird thing. They are, and they were put up in the 1980s. I had slept on this, bro. People have been telling me to talk about the Georgia Guidestones for a while, and I just like, sometimes it's like when content's already been put out on TikTok. Like I remember when Georgia Guidestones were trending a little while. It's like when somebody tells you to do something that's already been trended, you're reluctant to want to do it because it might not pop, right? I guess that's kind of my mindset, maybe when it shouldn't be. But they're in 1970, dude. And the story behind them is really weird and different. So it said in June 1979, man under the pseudonym, which is just a fake alias name used or for a certain purpose. The pseudonym R.C. Christian. He approached the Alberton Granite Finishing Company in Georgia on behalf of a small group of loyal Americans. That's what he called them. A small group of loyal Americans, right? So, in explaining this stone and all these 10, almost like a 10 commandments, if you will. He said he wanted the stone to be a compass, a calendar, and a clock all at the same time. And he said this importantly. He said most importantly, I need it to survive catastrophic times, so that future generations can see it. But the said Georgia Guidestones, dude, have you guys heard the 10 commandments on this? Where are we at here? I just took a picture over here. Not that one. Yeah, right here. Okay, these blew my mind, y'all. These 10 commandments. Some of them I can agree with. But if the first one's right, holy fucking shit. We're in for it. There's no real original source to where this gentleman got these from. I thought it was extraterrestrial, and there may be theories that it is. But a lot of people believe it's from the secrets in the NWO. Not sure. Not going to say it is because I don't know. But the first one, just real quick, we'll go over these real quick. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. What? 500 million, dude. That's the population of the United States alone, damn near. We're at 7.5 billion. What? We are fucked if that's right. Fucked if that's right. Yeah, 330 million. But still, we got to be edging, getting closer anyway. But China's what, 1.5 billion, a billion anyway. Yeah, see, that's probably true. I just seen Billy Carson's recent live from like a week ago, and he said 7.5, so that's kind of what I just ran with. But yeah, there could easily be 8 or 9 billion too, sure, quite easily. So that was the first one, right? And this second one, I gotta say it makes sense. I'm just gonna put it like that. It makes sense. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Interesting, right? Interesting. Um, Interesting theory or thought, right? It makes sense, kind of. Does it not? I mean, maybe at this point, hard to say. So, um, so unite humanity with one living language. This goes back to the shit like the Tower of Babel, when man thought they could build a tower to the heavens, and they were succeeding. That's another reason people say that God lowered our age, is because actually that man did get so powerful at one time that, not that he was intimidated, but it was like a scary powerful. So that's why he did the Tower of Babel deal, to prove and he won't let nobody get to him. You know what I mean? To try is silly, but they did. And they were succeeding. Truly, they were succeeding in building a tower to the heavens. Side note: one of the original flights to the moon, Buzz Aldrin or whatever, did state that there was a monument on the moon that was 15 miles height. 15 miles tall. That's what he said. Whether you believe that or not, it's up to you. Pretty crazy though. 15 miles, bro. 15 miles tall. Fathom that in your head. That's high. That's up there, boy. That's high. I don't know what the world's tallest building is right now, but it ain't even a mile, is it? Is it even a mile tall, the tallest building? No. They went to the moon. Do we have a mile tall building? I don't even know what the world's tallest building is. I have reason to believe that there was a giant that, yeah. I actually believe he was even taller than that, because I had his footprint in the ocean at 4,900 feet, just under a mile long foot, which would make, if you do yours, foot to foot, if you do your feet to your height, it's usually a certain average. It's close, generally close. Mine, I got 12-inch feet, and I'm 6 foot tall, so 7, right? 12-inch, 6 times 7, 6 times 12, 72. Yeah. So times his foot, which is almost a mile, by 6 or 7. You're talking he was 7 miles tall. 7 miles tall. And he's the one that used to walk the ocean when there was water in it, because he never would go under. He was tall. He was tall enough to walk through the oceans and never go underwater. They've talked about him in ancient times too. Okay, half mile. Burj Khalifa, 2722. Tallest building's a half mile. The one he saw on the moon, he said, was 15 miles tall. That's tall, bro. That's built by a race that's definitely powerful. Yeah, 20 feet's a baby giant for sure. Like that one I showed you guys there. Definitely a baby giant. What up, John Mazer? How's it going, buddy? What do you mean people still talk about you? Did you go to the moon? Low key, bro? Oh, hell yeah, dude, bro. Good to see you here, man. Always. What books? Appreciate that. Up in Mexico, it says they were made by mixing. What's that? Ooh, the Blue Planet Project. Haven't done a lot of that. Oh, the Dead Sea Scrolls? Cool. I liked how in that Aztec story, speaking of mermaid, thank you, They hid all the women and children because they really valued their women and children, because women were givers of life and children were the future of the people. Period. They're the future of the people. And without them, there was no future of their people, their society, right? So they hid them in the underground caverns of water. There's seawater in throughout the caverns, and they explained that the allied sea creatures protected the women and children. And I was like instantly like, okay, mermaids, yeah, all day. The good ones, right? Pretty cool stuff that they were a part of it as well. Did you guys see that video, y'all, that I posted? The video with the sirens. Did I share that on here? Did I duet that and actually share it on my page? You know what? I don't think I did, bro. I didn't. I shared that on my YouTube because I couldn't post it to my TikTok. Check it out. It's on my YouTube and my Instagram. My Instagram's been popping off. I got a nice fan base going on Instagram. Yeah, no, dude, check them out. They're basically sirens. They're sirens. They sound just like sirens. Why do they call them sirens? They sound just like sirens. Their wail, their cry, their song is sounds just like a siren, dude. There's a whole herd of them, or a clan, or a school, if you will, I guess, since it's water, probably a school of sirens was heard by this gentleman and his girlfriend who lived alongside, must be the ocean. They're moving, and they were moving in numbers, and they were wailing the whole time. It made me go, oh shit, you know what I mean? Now, could that be Earth-based, or could that be that they're being attacked? I don't know. Ever since that kid that was on here, I don't know. But it was really cool, and it sounded, there's just no doubt they were not orcas, they were not dolphins. Check them out. They're freaking crazy, dude. They sounded so cool. Like nothing I've ever heard. I also have a really cool video that I never shared to my TikTok. I was going to snatch it and put it on my TikTok, but it was actually from a TikToker originally, so I was like, nah, I'm not going to snatch this content. Not how it gets down. I'll duet it, but I won't snatch it. It was of this gentleman who was standing on his front porch overlooking a bay. I believe it's in like Saskatchewan, Canada, of some sort like that. North, basically, North Country. And he's standing there just recording the boats on the bay when suddenly he hears this death-defying wail. And when he hears this wail, he instantly knows it's not something of the norm, but it basically sounds like this female and male Bigfoot who are probably walking a cliff of sorts, and the infant, one of them, somehow dies. It either falls off a ledge, one way or another. It ends up deceased, and the mom wails like, no, and she's like crying, dude, like passionately. And then the dad, it's almost like you can just picture in your head you're on the mountain, your child falls. What are you going to want to do? Well, you're going to feel like you damn near want to jump after him, even though you know the result of that. You'd feel like you damn near wanted to jump after. Well, I think the mother was like that. She was like pushing it to the edge of where she could fall too. And then the father goes, he like yells at her. And it sounds like almost like a small form of English, but I'm not going to say it was English because I'm just not going to say that. But basically he grunted at her like, get back, like don't kill yourself too, basically. But I was like listening to that and going, my God, these Bigfoots are so much more deep and in depth than we ever imagined. The fact that she felt such emotion when her toddler or her offspring probably perished wild, dude. Just wild. So when I heard his grandfather say that they were highly intellectual and empathetic beings of light, I absolutely was like, okay, yeah, absolutely. That's no question. I see it and hear it with my own ears. That mom was devastated, bro. Like a mom would be devastated when that kid fell. Or whatever happened to it. Could have got hunted, I don't know. But it definitely wasn't right. Between that and then the one underground of the cuffs on that thing. But I got a couple for tomorrow. I plan on sharing tomorrow. I found this page that had a great story about submarines. First one. Submarines and encounters with sea creatures. And I'm actually excited to do it because it's pretty good. Submarines and true historical accounts of their encounters with large sea creatures. And how some of them were sank because of them. How they were sank because of them. Pretty crazy stuff. They were big. They talked about them as if they were massive underwater. So I got some more good content coming y'all way. I do want to read. I want to do some research on that Coming Race video or book. I mean, the Coming Race book, and just kind of maybe tell that story because it sounds really interesting with the black goo and such. Yeah. So I'm gonna have some more stuff out there. I have a couple more ideas too for good content. I love the giant stories. I've been seeing a lot more giants on TikTok lately. A lot more. Thank you for the gifts so much, guys. I appreciate that. I've been seeing a lot more info on the giants. A lot of modern times pictures of giants that existed throughout the 1900s. Yao Ming, like people like who exist today. Andre the Giant. There's been giants throughout history for a long time. And they called it, back in the day, they called it gigantism, yeah. Or giantism or whatever. Of course, we labeled it as a deformity, when in fact it's not. It's just in our genome. And once in a while, that genome gets unlocked. And said person is born with that trait, so. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Good stuff. Always interesting. But I probably should cut it short, guys. It's getting late. Y'all need to go to bed, too. I'm not going to be at 2 o'clock anymore. That was just random. Like I said, I was hesitant on even going live tonight, but it turned out good, so I'm glad I did. But it's good to see you guys keep coming back. I missed having my lives. I really enjoy them. But I'm really going to work hard, dude. No more violations, guys. Really, I got to work hard at that. Because I don't want to lose the privilege all around. So I'm really going to work hard at that. And watch what I say and do. So. Because it's no good if I can't even spread the word, right? So I appreciate you guys. You all rock. Make sure you guys come back tomorrow night, all right? Peace out. Love y'all. Love and light. Stay in the light.